Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am going to be sharing another very disturbing story with you. A story that was shared with me, and I definitely feel the need to talk about these types of stories because I have daughters. Now, there are those men who think that my concentration should be on telling black women that they need to get themselves together and they are the downfall of the black community and all of these different things. There are a lot of men who think that that's where my concentration should be. Although over the years, anyone who has followed this channel knows that I have talked to the Daughters of Zion on many different occasions about many different things about how we are to be. So my focus cannot just remain there. I also have to warn the Daughters of Zion, or black women, about the particular thing that I'm about to talk about now. The story that was shared with me, I'm not going to share the video because of the violent content of the video. There is, I don't even know if I want to call them young men. There are these young, whatever they are, laughing and giggling as the other takes a skateboard and knocks her out with it. Apparently because she was saying something he didn't want her to say. Now, some say that she was rejecting him, but he said with her mouth she was disrespecting him. So I did a post on my channel recently about respect. Is that something that you give automatically, or is it something that is earned? And I did clarify that I wasn't talking about general respect for another human being. I'm not talking about just being respectful just because this is another human being and so are you, okay? Being polite. I wasn't talking about that type of respect. I'm just talking about respect in general. Do you just give it to someone? Does this black woman just give this man disrespect just because he wants it? Not talking about general respect. I'm talking about based on his behavior, based on his interaction with her, all of this. Is that owed to him automatically? Okay, now why am I saying this? Because it looked like she was on her cell phone or whatever, and he said something to her, she said something to him without even looking up, and then next thing you know, she gets knocked upside of her head with a skateboard. And the other fellas in the background, they thought something funny and amusing happened as he walked towards the camera, too ignorant to realize that you were just captured on camera violating someone's existence, violently attacking them, and then you walk towards the camera as if you are not aware that if the right people, if law enforcement gets a hold of the footage with your face, you're not even trying to hide who you are, then you are going to jail. These are the types of things that we continue to see in the so-called black community while trying to demand respect from others. And we have no respect for each other. I don't know how many times I have to say that I'm not talking about every black man, and not every black woman fits the bill for what some of these men try to claim, saying that 90% of black women are evil. Well, if you look in scripture, I'm going to take it back to the head. For you women who allow yourselves to be around certain types of men, you better look for someone who has his head on right, okay? And who is thinking with the right head, okay? There are men who think that I shouldn't say anything. This is one of those comparisons that I was going to make between black men and white men. Some black men and some white men, okay? White men can't stand for you to talk about how treacherous they have been around the world towards all of humanity. Likewise, a lot of black men can't stand for black women to even talk about or discuss the heinous things that they do to black women. You say women shouldn't be teaching. This ain't got a darn thing to do with teaching. I'm instructing the Daughters of Zion on being very, very cautious on being in the presence of an unrighteous black man. Because as you see, she's on her phone responding to whatever it is he was saying to her, and then he knocks her out with a skateboard. I can't even call that a fourth grade thing. That's despicable. And I want to say to you black women, you better stay away from black men who act and respond like that. Black men who have a certain mentality, don't even give them a chance. Stay far away from them. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't have been out that late. I know you're probably grown, but out that late surrounded by black men. No one wants to label a whole group. But when we lived in the city of Detroit, before I got married to my husband, I remember when we would go fishing early in the morning. One time he wanted us to stop at a gas station on the east side of Detroit on Gratiot Avenue. It was early in the morning. I'm going to say between 5 and 5:30 perhaps. I could be wrong on the time, but it doesn't matter. It was still dark outside. It could have been even earlier than that, possibly 4:30, because they used to go fishing early. But it was still dark on the east side of Detroit on Gratiot Avenue. And I promise you, it looked like it was about 50 to 60, maybe even 70 Negroes at that gas station, loud, and just some of them drinking at their 40s or whatever you call them. And I remember saying to my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time, I remember saying to him, why are we stopping here? Can we go to another gas station? Because in the city of Detroit, those of you who grew up in perfect, pristine neighborhoods, please don't get in the comment section saying don't judge all black men because of what some do. I grew up in the city of Detroit, okay? My husband had a gun put to his head twice in the city of Detroit. My sister had a gun put to her chest in the city of Detroit. I was robbed in the city of Detroit. There was no weapon involved, but I was still robbed. I've seen so many horrible, horrendous things happen in the city of Detroit. So spare me all of the groveling in the comment section about how we shouldn't lump everyone together, because that is not what I'm doing. I'm talking about those who the shoe fits. I know that we have some incredible black men and some incredible black women, but those of you who expect me to say it every time I'm talking about these issues, you are deflecting. Those young men who hit that girl upside the young man who hit her, the others who laughed, with that skateboard, they are despicable human beings. I have daughters, and I can't even tell you I'm not going to get off into that, because I don't owe no explanation to anyone for talking about the things that I talk about. If you want to talk about how despicable black women are, by all means, do that, because you're doing it anyway. No other group of people do what we see doing among black people. The black man allowing himself to be filmed on camera, I did a video earlier where these young men threw this young woman into a dumpster, and the rest of them in the background laughing as if something humorous was taking place. This video, he knocks her out. Instead of helping her or saying to him, why did you do that, man? Instead of any of that happening, what happens? They're laughing in the background. Right here in front of me, I have some fresh peas from the garden. I'm going to just crack that open. Fresh peas from the garden. Look at that. Green peas. I'll take them right out of the shell here. Right out of the shell. And I am going to eat them. See those sweet peas? Took them out of the shell, or the pod, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to eat them raw. Delicious. Now, those of you, again, who think that I spend too much time talking about what black men are doing to black women. Maybe you should stop talking about what white people are doing to black people, because that is one of the parallels that I wanted to draw between black men and white men. You don't think anybody should talk about the mess that you do, okay? No one is saying that black women are perfect, okay? As a matter of fact, I've done many videos where I talk about some of the despicable things that our women do as well. But when I see this type of treachery against a young woman because you feel disrespected, you are one despicable human being. I'm going to say it again. I have daughters, and I will continue to talk about these things, and I will continue to warn my daughters and the rest of the daughters of Zion, black women, to stay clear of these type of brute beasts. Don't even go in their direction. If you see a pack of them standing somewhere, go in another direction. Don't even risk it to determine what it is they're about to do to you. If I remember, I will share the link to that video in the comment section. It's on Twitter. I am not sure if it is allowed on YouTube, although some people have it on there. It will probably have to come down because of the violent nature of it. But the way he struck this young woman with that skateboard, he needs to go to prison. Yes? And those of you who don't think he needs to go to prison, please stay off of my channel saying anything, okay? If you think that she is supposed to wake up and have mercy on his black behind just because he's a black man, please get off of my channel, okay? Because it's that type of abuse that keeps the black woman fearful and afraid, okay? And then nobody wants to talk about why a lot of so-called black women are the way that they are. You want to talk about how wicked and evil black women are, but let's start at the head first, okay? Start at the head. Because when the head is out of order, the whole body is out of order. With that, I am out.